Do you eat a boiled egg every morning for your health? Right now, a bitter winter wind is blowing outside your window. Did you know that a single cold egg, eaten without thinking during this cold season, can be a deadly poison that will damage your kidneys? We've lived our whole lives believing that eggs are a perfect food and that we need to eat more protein as we age. However, your body after 60 is completely different from when you were younger. Would you believe that the boiled egg you ate every day, thinking it was a health supplement, was actually a cyanide bomb that silently rotted your kidneys and clogged your blood vessels? Hospitals never explain this in detail. They just repeat vague advice like, eat less salty food or reduce your protein intake. Why don't doctors tell you specifically how to eat to revitalize your kidneys? Unfortunately, hospitals may be more happy to see you sick and keep coming back than to get healthy and stop. But I'm not on the hospital's side. I'm only on the side of our readers. I'm Kong Mingyu, a natural healing expert who has been saving patients abandoned by hospitals for 30 years through food. Today, I'm going to share with you some very urgent, life-saving information. Many people are confused. Some say eggs are bad for the heart, while others say they're essential for muscle growth. Who's right? I'll give you a clear explanation today. If you don't know this secret and continue to eat eggs incorrectly, your kidney filtration function will be irreversibly damaged, and you'll end up suffering from lifelong dependence on dialysis. In fact, the 74-year-old man from Gyeonggi province who asked for my help, Mr. Choi Young-sik, also diligently ate eggs for his health last winter, but instead collapsed from pneumonia and kidney failure, facing a life-or-death situation. This isn't just someone else's story. It's a reality that could hit you tomorrow. But don't worry. If you watch the video to the end today, you'll clearly understand the golden ratio for egg consumption to protect your kidneys and revive dying muscles, as well as the miraculous recipe for saving your kidneys. Are you ready to learn how to protect your kidneys using ingredients you already have in your kitchen without spending a penny? Let's get started right now. To clearly understand the problem, we must first understand the hidden reason why doctors and nutritionists have long advised people with kidney problems to limit protein. This is because they're concerned about the threat of phosphorus, which causes kidney failure, and the need to protect bones and maintain healthy aging. Think back to when you received a health checkup report from the hospital and were told your kidney function had dropped slightly. Doctors probably only offer very general advice, such as avoiding salty foods and reducing meat intake. No one offers specific advice, such as whether to boil or fry eggs, or whether to remove the yolks. As a result, our elders become frightened and make extreme choices. Many, determined to protect their kidneys, completely cut out protein and eat only plain rice with water and kimchi. But this is like burning a fire while trying to catch a flea. Muscle loss after age 60 is a more terrifying disaster than losing weight. There are clear ways to protect your kidneys while also preserving your muscles, but hospitals often omit important details, citing a lack of time. They may want you to remain dependent on medication for the rest of your life, rather than learn how to heal yourself. But I disagree. I sincerely hope you develop the power to protect yourself through food without medication. So, what exactly is happening inside our bodies that makes eggs both friend and foe of our kidneys? I'll explain the mysterious principles of our bodies in a very simple way. Imagine your kidneys not as a state-of-the-art water purifier, but as an old boiler filter that's been running nonstop for 60 years. When we eat carbohydrates like rice or bread, our bodies use them for energy, leaving behind only water and carbon dioxide. These are easily excreted through breathing or sweating. There's not much to do. However, protein, the main component of eggs, is completely different. When protein breaks down, it inevitably produces a byproduct called nitrogen. This is like the toxic smoke from a stove. It can't be exhaled or even easily expelled through sweat. It must be filtered out through urine. The problem is that it's currently winter. When the weather gets cold, our bodies tightly close our skin, peripheral organs, and blood vessels to protect themselves. Sweat pores also become damaged. Then, all waste disposal in the body falls solely to the kidneys. Furthermore, when blood vessels constrict due to the cold, blood pressure rises, and pressure within the kidneys also soars. Medically, this is called segmental overheating. Simply put, it's like the harsh winter environment doubling the burden on an old, tired worker named Kongpati. Here are 3 worst egg-eating habits that damage the kidneys and health tips to avoid. If you consume eggs without any knowledge in this situation, phosphorus, found in egg yolks, becomes a lethal weapon. For healthy people, phosphorus is a valuable resource that strengthens bones. However, kidneys in their 60s with diminished function cannot excrete this phosphorus in the urine. The accumulated calcium in the blood turns you into a zombie, forcibly extracting calcium from your bones. Ultimately, your bones become porous and weak, and your blood vessels become clogged with calcium waste, hardening them like stones. This is precisely why so many elderly people break bones in falls or suddenly collapse from strokes in the winter. Eggs themselves aren't bad. Old kidneys, the cold winter, and your ignorance combine to turn eggs into tools. So what specific eating habits have caused our kidneys to suffer this state? In the following sections, I'll point out the terrible mistakes we make every day. The scariest thing is that even now, you're insisting on a diet that's killing your kidneys, claiming to be healthy. I'll reveal the 3 most unfortunate mistakes I've seen over the past 30 years of treating tens of thousands of patients. These mistakes are making your kidneys slosh like wet tissue paper. The first and worst mistake is the habit of eating eggs with processed meats like ham or sausage. Many seniors mistake a fried egg with a slice of ham for breakfast as a Western-style meal. Or they even eat kimchi stew with ham and eggs. I'm sorry, but this isn't a meal. It's like detonating a nuclear bomb on your kidneys. Do you know why I'm being so harsh? It's because of the different types of phosphorus. The phosphorus found in natural foods like eggs and meat, called organic phosphorus, is only absorbed by our bodies by 30% to 60%, and the rest is excreted in our stool. This is a level that can be processed. However, the phosphorus in processed foods like ham, sausage, fish cake, and bacon is called inorganic phosphorus. This is an artificial chemical additive added to extend the shelf life of food and enhance its flavor. Over 90% of this inorganic phosphorus is absorbed into the bloodstream as soon as it enters our bodies. With blood vessels constricted in the dead of winter, the kidneys, already struggling, are inevitably bombarded with this inorganic phosphorus bombardment. The second mistake is sticking to the old ways and eating raw eggs. Koreans tend to blindly believe in folk remedies like mixing raw eggs into hot rice or drinking raw eggs for a better voice. When you were younger, your stomach might have been strong, so you might have been fine. But now your age is different. After 60, your stomach acid secretion decreases, significantly reducing your sterilizing ability. The white ash of raw eggs contains avidin, which interferes with the body's absorption of vitamins, leading to serious nutritional imbalances. Even more serious is the risk of salmonella infection. Especially in winter, when immunity is at its lowest, eating raw eggs incorrectly can lead to severe diarrhea and dehydration. Dehydration is a surefire way to lead to acute renal failure in kidney patients. We must prevent the tragedy of being rushed to the emergency room because of a single egg eaten in an attempt to improve health. The third mistake is the cooking method. Too many people are eating fried eggs, drenched in oil, or hard-boiled eggs, boiled until the yolk turns fluffy. When oil oxidizes at high temperatures, it creates toxins that increase inflammation levels in our bodies. The kidneys are strained to filter inflammatory substances from the blood. You may have noticed that the egg has been boiled too long, causing the yolk and white to turn green. This is the result of a substance called iron sulfide, which is very difficult to digest. This indigestion causes bloating and gas, which puts pressure on the diaphragm and ultimately impedes blood circulation, reducing blood flow to the kidneys. If you've been eating eggs in any of these 3 ways, you should stop immediately. Food can be poisonous if consumed unknowingly, but can be medicine if consumed knowingly. So how can we avoid all these risks and save our kidneys? Fortunately, the solution is very simple and clear. I will now reveal the miraculous ratio and recipe that saved 74-year-old Choi Hyung-sik from the brink of death. Get ready to go to Biwak. So, Should we completely stop eating eggs this cold winter? No, that would be a more dangerous option. When muscle is lost, your immune system weakens, increasing your risk of contracting infectious diseases like pneumonia exponentially. So today, I'm going to reveal to you the only solution to both protecting your kidneys and muscles. A recipe for steamed eggs in a clay pot that aids protein digestion and absorption, protecting your blood vessels, and the golden ratio rule for healthy aging. This isn't something I made up. This is a kidney revitalization formula designed based on numerous clinical studies and nutritional evidence. The core of this rule is very simple. For every egg, an animal-based protein, you must pair it with a plant-based protein. Why? The microscopic blood vessels in our kidneys tense and constrict when only animal protein is consumed. When these blood vessels narrow, stress and pressure increase, and the kidneys become overworked. However, when plant-based proteins like soybeans or tofu are added, something amazing happens. The plant compounds in soybeans gently relax the renal blood vessels. It's like opening a narrow door wide for those trying to pass through. This allows waste to be filtered out with less effort. This is the food combination that complements each other's weaknesses and maximizes each other's strengths. So, what's the perfect partner for eggs? It's tofu. Tofu, so familiar to Koreans, becomes the ultimate health supplement when paired with eggs. Tofu is high in water content, easily digestible, and, most importantly, alkaline. It neutralizes the acid produced when eggs are metabolized in the body, reducing the acidity in the kidneys. When making steamed eggs in the morning, try replacing the water with mashed tofu to make steamed eggs. This isn't just a side dish, it's a healing remedy for the kidneys. A second recommended companion is mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms and oyster mushrooms, in particular, contain beta-glucan, a powerful anti-inflammatory substance. It soothes chronic inflammation caused by the winter cold and protects kidney cells. When eggs and mushrooms are cooked together, the vitamin D in the mushrooms aids in the absorption of calcium from the eggs, strengthening bones. Now that you know the ingredients, it's time to change the preparation method. Forget the frying or hard-boiling methods I mentioned earlier. There are only two ways to prepare eggs that will revitalize your kidneys: soft-boiled and steamed. First, soft-boiled. It's best to eat eggs with the whites cooked and the yolks still moist and jelly-like. This method increases the digestion and absorption rate to over 90%. Eggs stay in the stomach for a short time, which is comforting, and since the lecithin component isn't destroyed, it can even support brain health. However, my strongest recommendation right now, especially during the winter, is steamed eggs in a clay pot. A clay pot keeps the heat in for a long time. A miraculous case study of a 70-year-old who restored kidney function through diet preserves the health of the kidneys. Warm food relaxes the stomach and accelerates blood circulation, increasing the amount of damage to the soybean paste. The cooking method also needs to be slightly modified for the kidneys. Add twice as much water as usual to each egg, and instead of salt, add a little shrimp paste or kelp water for a richer flavor. This way, you can minimize your sodium intake while still achieving a soft, silken tofu-like texture. Also, before eating eggs, there's one iron rule you must follow. Eat the vegetables first. Don't just grab an egg as soon as you sit down. Instead, eat 2 or 3 bites of vegetables like broccoli or cabbage first. The fiber in the vegetables forms a thin protective layer on the stomach lining. This layer prevents the phosphorus and sugar in the egg yolk from being absorbed all at once into the bloodstream, allowing them to seep in slowly. This acts as an airbag to protect you from sudden shock. Remember, 1 egg, 1 block of tofu, a handful of mushrooms, and a warm assembly. These small changes will add 10 years to the life of your kidneys. Don't overthink it. Rather than expensive nutritional supplements, these common ingredients in our kitchens, when combined with the right knowledge, create true miracles. In fact, Mr. Choi Young-sik, whom I mentioned earlier, was initially skeptical. He said it wasn't easy to change a lifelong eating habit. However, I earnestly implored him to believe my advice and put it into practice for just 1 week. And do you know what amazing changes occurred in him after a week? I'll share the impressive results in the next story. I still vividly remember Mr. Choi Young-sik, 74, when he first visited my lab last winter during the bitter cold of northern Gyeonggi province. His condition at the time was, in a word, miserable. He was emaciated, weighing only 50 kilograms despite being 170 centimeters tall. He couldn't even climb the stairs on his own, so he had to be helped in by his son. His face was sallow, and his eyes were devoid of life. The elderly man held my hand and said in a trembling voice, "Doctor, I think I'm finished now. The hospital is telling me to prepare for dialysis. I'd rather give up meat than live on a machine." A healthy diet of fermented soybean paste, shiitake mushroom, and egg custard to help dilate blood vessels and reduce inflammation. Ironically, the reason the elderly man was so damaged was because he was overly concerned about his health. Immediately after his health checkup revealed poor kidney function, he blindly believed misinformation circulating online. Frightened by the idea that protein could attack the kidneys, he gave up all his favorite foods, eggs and meat. For the past 6 months, he'd only eaten white rice, washed kimchi, and a few vegetables. The results were dire. Without nutrition, his body began burning muscle from his thighs, buttocks, and thighs for energy. In medical terms, this meant severe sarcopenia. As his muscles disappeared, his immune system plummeted and a mild cold developed into pneumonia, leading to repeated hospitalizations and discharges. Furthermore, his legs gave out, causing him to fall on an icy road and fracture his hip joint. Trying to protect his kidneys, he nearly lost his entire body. I firmly told him, "Sir, it's not kidney disease that's killing you, but your ignorant eating habits. Starting today, you must immediately reduce your medication and follow the diet plan I'm giving you." At first, he strongly refused. He was anxious, saying he'd heard that eating eggs would raise his creatine levels. However, I explained the principle of the 1-to-1 golden ratio, step by step, and I earnestly persuaded him to trust me for just 1 week. The prescription was simple. I had him eat warm shiitake mushroom, steamed eggs every morning. Instead, I have the amount of chestnuts and added tofu to fill her stomach. For the first few days, the elderly person ate every spoonful, half in fear, half in anticipation. But on the 3rd day, I got a call. "Doctor, surprisingly, when I woke up in the morning, my body felt warm and at ease." And a week later, the hospital test results were surprising. The kidney function, which I had worried about, hadn't deteriorated at all, and instead, my albumin level, which indicates nutritional status, began to rise within the normal range. 3 months later, with spring in full swing, the elderly person came to see me again. This time, he came in alone, without a cane. His cheeks were rosy, and his thighs were firm and strong. The doctor in charge of the hospital was reportedly amazed, calling it a miracle. He forgot about the dialysis, and now he's healthy enough to climb the hill behind the neighborhood. He's regained his health by practicing the old pumpkin diet, which helps eliminate waste, and eating vegetables first. The elderly man shed tears of gratitude, but in truth, it wasn't me who created the miracle. It was the common, inexpensive eggs and mushrooms he consistently ate every morning. It wasn't expensive ginseng or deer antler, but the ingredients we have right here, right next to us, that save his life. Mr. Choi Hyung-sik's story isn't a special case. It's a change you, watching this video, can begin tomorrow. So, now it's your turn. What should I put on my plate tomorrow morning? For those of you who are feeling lost, I'll reveal my own miraculous 3-day meal plan in the next section. Grab a pen and paper and write it down. Now, have you got a pen and paper? This 3-day meal plan I'm about to share isn't just a simple menu. It's a life-extending prescription that revived Mr. Choi Hyung-sik's previously dormant kidneys. It doesn't contain any difficult or expensive ingredients. These are common ingredients found in everyone's refrigerator, but depending on how you combine them, they can be both poison and medicine. The theme of the first day is vasodilation. The kidneys struggle the most to open narrowed blood vessels and pump blood. So, for breakfast on the first day, prepare a soft-boiled egg and some gently boiled cheonggukjang, fermented soybean paste. Gukjang is the best fermented food Koreans have. The bacilli in gukjukjang not only strengthen the intestines, but also break down the soybean protein into very fine pieces, making it incredibly easy to digest and absorb. The key is the preparation method. When boiling gukjukjang, do not add salt or soy sauce. Season only with anchovies and kelp. Then, add the tofu cut into large pieces. When the animal protein in the egg and the vegetable protein in the gukjukjang tofu meet in the stomach, they complement each other's lack of amino acids and gently dilate the kidney blood vessels. Reduce your usual portion of rice by just 2 spoonfuls and replace it with tofu. This will fill you up, but the burden on your kidneys will be halved. The theme for the second day is inflammation reduction. In winter, the cold causes invisible, chronic inflammation throughout the body. This inflammatory waste clogs the kidney filter. Shiitake mushroom steamed eggs clears this up. Pour more water than usual into a pot. Thinly slice the dried shiitake mushrooms and add them. Dried shiitake mushrooms contain over 10 times more vitamin D than fresh mushrooms, which helps calcium absorption and boosts immunity. Add the beaten eggs and cook slowly over very low heat. If you cook them too quickly over high heat, the proteins will harden and become difficult to digest. It should go down smoothly, like pudding, so that the stomach is comfortable and nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. Be sure to lightly season the liver with shrimp paste broth. Shrimp paste contains protein-digesting enzymes, making it a perfect match. The theme of the third day is waste removal.